Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Seek Therapy Podcast. It is me, Jasmine. I am here with America and Jasmine with an E. So, how is everyone doing? It's been a couple of weeks. Life be lifing, but we are back, and I am so happy to be back with y'all. So, what's been going on? What's been your highlight? What's been your challenge?
Glad to be back. Glad things are back in our normal swing. Well, as normal as it can be.
Mhm.
I would say my highlight has been just the fact that I have been really continuing to commit to doing things that make me feel good, which has been really important, especially throughout this whole pandemic and trying to support people, but also supporting people more than I do myself sometimes. Um,
Mhm.
so just making sure that I am maintaining that balance has been a highlight. And then my challenge would just be, everything that comes with owning a business and doing every damn thing yourself, to be honest.
Mhm. Yes. Shout
I,
out to entrepreneurship.
Baby, it was easier working a 9 to 5 as quiet as it's kept. But
Oh, yes.
my business.
Yes.
literally.
Literally.
Yeah, I would say my new is getting back into Pilates. Um, I used to do performer Pilates at the YMCA back in high school with my bonus money.
Okay.
That's fancy.
Right, right. And so I'm not a gym girl. I blew my knee out. I ran track for years and my knee out. So I've been kind of like skeptical to go back out and running. I
Mhm.
did earlier this year and I had splints the entire time. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get back into Pilates, reformer to be specific. And so, yeah, I really like that. It's chill. You can wear socks when you go work out. You just show up in your slides and some socks. And mostly women in the classes. So it's nothing creepy or anything like that. And I can already kind of feel a change in not bending over so much or like curling my back when I type and just my posture and
Mhm.
starting to feel strong from the core again. And then I would say in the last few weeks, definitely a challenge has been dealing with grief, losing a close family member, this being my first time losing someone close to me. Uh,
Mhm.
just going through that. Yeah. And it's definitely brought my family closer to one another. Uh, and it's definitely something that, it's normal for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I wish I could send you a hug. Well, I am sending you a virtual hug.
Yeah.
And just feel the feelings, you know, pour into yourself because that's so important, and take
And
it day by day.
don't put pressure on yourself to feel like you gotta hurry up and move through it.
Right.
Grief is gonna come in waves, so it's gonna be some days that are gonna be real easy. It's gonna be some
Mhm.
days that's gonna be hard as hell. Let yourself ride the wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is wrapping your mind around, because everyone says you got to keep going, you got to keep living. And when it's someone that you didn't picture not living life with,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, oh, you know. So
Mhm.
yeah, but um we're getting through it. We're gonna push through. This is my first time speaking at a funeral. And my cousin was younger than me. He was 23 and he left a
Mhm.
legacy. He achieved his dreams.
Mhm.
And even got up and was like, sometimes people have to like really pull to like say nice things about the deceased. And this was a
Mhm.
certain we were really just celebrating his life, and everyone that got up and had something to say was telling the truth. This is a person that showed love, lived through love, and yeah, we just gotta, as much as we can, push through, like you guys are saying, and keep that going. And a lot of things that I've been telling myself is like, I got to continue to celebrate my wins because my
Mhm.
cousin type that if you brought him some good news, he was happy for you. He was celebrating you. So I just want to keep that same spirit.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's see.
You don't have to push through. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Mm.
You don't have to push through. That push through basically indicates that like you gotta push it down so that you can keep moving. And you don't have to do that. You get to literally fall apart and be applesauce on the floor if that's what you need to be. If you need to take time off, weeks off, whatever you need, if it's available to you, take that. We got this thing as a culture that's like, all right, it happens, suck it up, keep it pushing. Right. And I think that's really why a majority of us don't know how to feel our feelings, because that's what we've been taught to do. I'm like, no, hell no. Like, you can sit still and feel all the things. And if you need to be applesauce on the floor or be in a fetal position, that's what you need to do until your body tells you, all right, bet. Okay, we can do this today or we can do this tomorrow. Like, you don't have to push through nothing. Your ancestors and everybody before you have done enough. You ain't got to push through shit.
Soft life me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the clarification, period.
A word.
Right. My challenge actually just happened yesterday. So, I'm going through the new job thing, and so I had to go and get a physical, and I also have not been weighing myself because fuck the scale. But I had to weigh myself yesterday, and it was just very different than what I was expecting. And so trying not to, how fitting on my TV screen it says "Break My Soul," Beyonce, because I've been bumping that. Trying not to let that break my soul, because literally the album came out and I just was like on cloud nine, just like jamming, and I have put on like an outfit, felt real good. And so I'm like, so why should I let that number deter me from that feeling that I was just having? It doesn't mean anything, so just trying to push through that, and postpartum and all that, and just giving myself that grace, Woo. But but my highlight, I would say, is that I've been really like having some amazing people come into my life this year. I got rid of a lot of people. And I feel like when I was holding on to that, I was pushing away, really getting the people that I deserve. And so now I'm really getting some mutual friendships, some friendships that affirm me, that go out of their way to make plans, drive out here, so that just feels really good. And I feel like I was telling one of my friends, like, I'm the happiest that I've been, period. I'm feeling great in all areas, and so that is a really nice feeling.
Good. Yes. I think you said a mouthful there about when you finally let things go that no longer served you, the things that you desired and deserved had an opportunity to come in. And one of the things I tell people is, like, when you holding on tight to something, you don't have room to pick up nothing else. But when you release and let it go, your hands are open so you can receive all the things that you deserve and desire. I love it. That's beautiful.
Yes, I do love that. Yes. And then the new moon in Leo happened. And so I wrote some intentions down, lit some candles, played my manifestation playlist, and really got like into it. Yeah. I'm like, there is nothing that I cannot get, period. Nothing is off limits. And so we going into it, right? We really focusing on, like you were saying, America, doing things that make you happy. Okay. these little, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get the long nails, but I can still do a little something, because it makes me happy.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And so just really being on that has been great. And Jasmine, you said your new, so I'm going to say my new too. It is this one, Self-Love Workbook for Women.
Hey.
Release self-doubt, build self-compassion, and embrace who you are. And so I've been really working on that. It has a lot of different activities and stuff like that, so that you can pour into yourself in a positive way. And so that's my new. I've been telling all my clients, male and female, I'm like,
Period.
this is just self-love, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's that good. I haven't even finished it, but like I'm really getting a lot of information from it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Purchase a self-love journal myself. The damn Target will get you, right? You just came in there, you leave out $150 later. Like,
Every
wait a minute.
time.
Wait a minute.
Oops.
So yeah, I like that. But I feel like all of this kind of points into also our topic, right? We've already kind of touched on how perfectionism is in our daily lives, and really at the end of the day, what it really is about is just don't let anyone or any circumstance steal that joy. Each day we have to live pursuing joy, happiness, just do what makes you happy. And it's really the smallest that we have to serve to ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you go. Yeah, I was
like,
like,
my real quick.
Yes.
Mine has been taking cold showers. Okay, pause. Now I know how we are, because we don't do cold showers. We like hot showers.
If you start with it like medium.
No, cold, freezing, like almost like ice bath type deals. Now,
I'm listening.
I know, because it sounds wild as hell, because I am I get in the shower and it's like I'm cooking noodles kind of girl. That's how I like for my showers to be.
Yeah.
However, I wanted to really start doing the cold plunging and all of that stuff. And so what better way to do it than let's start practicing in the shower. So ice cold water, taking a shower through it. It's kind of like that DBT skill where you have a change in temperature. So you're taking a shower in cold water. It's going to really reduce your heart rate. It allows your blood to flow in a different way. It reduces anxiety, all of the good things. And so that's what I've been doing. That's my new. And it's wild because baby does not like cold.
Yeah.
I like you feel oil.
And you feel your anxiety decreasing.
It's some crazy shit. Like it's crazy when you do the things you tell other people to do.
It is.
Working. I'm like, what the hell? It's all it took was to do what I be telling you to do. But,
not me really therapizing.
And it works. It's fascinating.
It's
amazing. It has been amazing.
Hours that you have to take before you felt like you felt,
it's almost instant, and it's wild as hell. Like literally when you get in the water, and it's almost been like this weird thing about surrendering too. I don't know, maybe I've been thinking too much into shit. I probably am, but like, because when the water hits you, your first instinct is like to tense up, and so like literally you're like that at first. But when you like allow your body an opportunity to release and like your hands release, bruh, it's like you just standing there. And like as the water hits, it's just like some sort of manifestation or like a mantra, like while the water is hitting. It also changes your breathing pattern. So like it forces you to like, and like really take deeper breaths. So it's slowing down your breath, it's slowing down your heart rate, all of the things. Yo, I am shook because I would have never tried. I might have started TikTok and just do fucking cold plunges like other people do and see what happens. I'm joking.
I'm definitely gonna try.
Out through your mouth. That's helped me. It's something like one of the basics they've been teaching us in going back to Pilates. But I at work, and I would feel the sensation of like needing to cry as I'm like typing something. And that's been helping me, right? Just like focus on your breath. That's helped me with being present, because I deal with anxiety and fear of, I mean, all anxiety is just fear of the unknown, but just practicing breathing in that way, in through your nose, out through your mouth. It looks like that alone can change life.
Life changing. Because we don't breathe correctly anyway. So when we like stop to actually do it the right way, that is crazy. It works though. I love it here. It's been amazing.
Period. And do. But as you were kind of saying, Jasmine, we were talking about perfectionism. And this book actually talked a little bit about perfectionism. And it actually had me looking at it in a different way. But I did want to open it up for you, America, because you were saying before we started recording just about like how you tell your clients, like, what do you think perfectionism is?
So it's interesting when I talk to clients about perfectionism, because I think there's this understanding that it's supposed to look a certain way. And so what I notice is women, because, I work with all Black women. So typically the conversation is, I'm feeling super anxious. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I feel like I have to get all of these things done all the time. I might procrastinate. I might this. And it's like all of these conversations. I'm like, okay, so sounds like you have some perfectionist tendencies. No. I don't want to be perfect. Like, I just want to get things done. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, perfectionism is a little bit deeper than that. And so it's not until like that, the work that you have is something that I've assigned to clients, and also working through some of the perfectionism CBT workbooks, even though CBT is questionable, but that's a different conversation. But working through some of those exercises to really help folks understand that a lot of us exhibit these perfectionism tendencies once we like really start to pay attention to it.
Right. I found what I wanted to share. So it says, less obviously, sometimes a lack of self love shows up disguised as perfectionism. This may sound strange at first. Wouldn't accomplishments and success foster self love? Unfortunately, when perfectionism and external measurements of self worth take the wheel, self love comes to a screeching halt. Instead, feelings of unworthiness take over and move us in the wrong direction, away from self love. Have you ever thought, if I only get 100% on my math test, or if I only lose 20 pounds, if only I had a romantic partner? And I was like, sheesh.
Yeah.
You ain't lying.
At all. At all. And we don't realize that, like, having such, because a lot of us have really unrealistic expectations for ourselves. Like, it's wild. It's shit you wouldn't expect other people to have, or you wouldn't expect other people to do. But like, by 25, I gotta have a house on the hills and a white picket fence and 2 dogs and 2 kids and make $1 million in an hour. And it's like, bro, what the fuck is going on? And then that like translates into how we see ourselves, right? I don't have that yet, so must not be doing well. Or I'm gonna find my partner when I'm 125. This ain't me, because baby ain't never gonna be 125. Baby don't want to be, but I'm gonna have my partner when I'm 125 and I'm this and I'm that. And it's like, ma'am, do you not just ma'am, but ma'am and sir, you understand how that impacts you on a regular basis? Because if you always have this invisible, it's really invisible, this invisible baseline for what life is supposed to look like, you ain't never gonna get that shit. And you're just gonna be fighting up against it all the time, and you're gonna be sick and sad.
Right. And you're always gonna be feeling like you're failing.
Always.
Because you set this highly unattainable standard for yourself. Obviously, we should all have goals for ourselves, right? That is normal, it's natural. But you don't want to be like, okay, by 27, I'm supposed to be married, owning a property, having passive income, like It's great for the people that do that, but we also have to be realistic about what we can feasibly handle and take on.
Yeah.
But honestly, like a part of this too is the fact that society places expectations on us. We then feel like we have to reinforce them, but we don't even really be knowing what it looks like, right? So it's like you on a hamster wheel, like you chasing all day and night to get to something. Okay, what it look like? I don't know. What does success look like? I don't know. What is happening? I don't know. So like you literally like on this hamster wheel running daily, and you feel like you're not getting nowhere. Well, that's because what you want for yourself isn't even realistic or something that you've thought out all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Where did these rules come from? Who told us that you have to be 125 pounds in order to find love?
Okay. Right.
At the house on the hill is the standard. And I think social media culture, I mean, I'm sure it was created with the best of intentions, right? Connected people.
Maybe, but I doubt it.
But
social media is capitalism at its finest.
Right. You know what I mean? And instead of making it known that as a species, you're not alone in your experiences or how you feel. It's not just going through something. Instead, we're giving this lens on perfectionism. Like, and it's so easy to look at and be like, well, that is obtainable. Only the girls are getting all the dudes. It's like, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have abs. So what's up? I'm eating chicken wings.
We actually can have a meal here.
And go have one and still be loved.
Please. But please.
But you know what? I think a part of the perfectionism thing too comes from like, you ever heard somebody say, well, like, I'm not perfect. Right. So like, it's like this idea that like being perfect, first of all, is obtainable, but then also like it's a good thing. And so like people are always striving to be perfect. Like I'm striving to be perfect. And then it's like, well, I'm fixating on this idea of like perfect. And I'm missing the mark. Well, of course you are, because it's make-believe.
Literally.
Ain't nobody perfect.
No one.
Not one human. Ever.
Yeah. And it's just exhausting. I feel like I might have talked about this before, but my parents' whole mantra growing up was excellence and not mediocrity, which essentially is striving for perfection, which is why I am the way that I am.
If I don't know if we're gonna do visual for this, but mine was too. It really was like you have to be fucking excellent. Like there's no in between. I remember getting 4 A's and a B, and I got in trouble because that B represented the fact that it wasn't perfect.
Right.
And then the A's were scrutinized because why is it a 92 here when it should be 100?
Right. Yes. I remember once in English, and my dad was like, what language do you speak? And I was like, I'll never fucking forget that, because it's like, we're not sitting in a class talking to each other.
Right, because that's all that it means. Just fuck the books and writing, huh?
That was one of the things. And my mom, because I grew up in a military household with my dad, I remember my mom would be like, you could have all A's and there's still going to be that person that's going to complain about the color shirt you have on. For some people, it's just always going to be something. I was raised in a household where, and I just had this conversation with my 16-year-old brother, with perception is very important. How you are by others is taught to us being important, which it is in the context of the world, okay, to an extent.
Right. But I'm like,
self to perform, to dress a certain way, to look a certain way, when you just need to run across the street to Walmart or Kroger to grab something real quick, if you feel the need to like put on your
Put on
eyebrow,
makeup and
your lashes, and brush your hair, I mean, those types of things we have to, as a sit back and look at, who taught me this? Where did I pick this? And is it serving my life and my mental health?
Right. Or is it hurting it? You know,
Right.
because I've never feel like I can just fucking be.
Right. And how much freedom is it in just fucking being, existing?
The most, period.
But when we're talking about perfectionism, most of us don't even know what just being means. Because when you have grown up in a house where excellence is the expectation, you are going to be critical as hell about every single thing that you do. Right. And like, oh, it looks good, because this perfectionism gets you to a certain point. Women, especially when we're talking about Black and brown women who like have perfectionist tendencies, tend to be like high achieving, right? So they make a certain income, they have these degrees, they've done this, they try all of these things that like the outside world looks at it as like, oh, you've made it. But people really don't understand that like you can do all of those things and have all of those things and still feel like shit because you don't feel like you're good enough. Like you still feel like something is missing.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, right, because preach it to the choir.
Okay. I'm talking about myself.
Right. Casual. I love when I can tell my clients like, yeah, that's something that we both can work on.
I said it. Oh, I said too. That's being transparent.
Period.
Important. Giving your client that self-disclosure of like, girl, me too.
That is powerful. That, and also saying like, oh yeah, I'm working on this with my therapist, you know, because that normalizes one, therapy, and saying that, hey, I've been there, I know how you're feeling, I do the same shit, like just got done crying, you know, like
okay.
Case knows where he came in.
Cry party going up. Cancer season is over. But yeah, you know, it's that whole excellence versus, I mean, not mediocrity thing. It is something that really like fucked me. Like, and I told my parents, like, I get the like intent, but it also made it very hard on all of us. Like we all have anxiety, you know, related to that. And it's a lot of undoing, you know, a lot of unlearning, because it was like, okay, I graduated with my master's, then I start working. And then it's like, okay, I have to be the highest billing therapist. Like I can never call out, like I have to turn in my assessments right on time or right early. Like I need to, like, I was just like really on the path to burnout. Right. And so with every job, I kind of got like, gave like less fucks. So that was at the height of my career. Then, you know, I went to like a janky fucking job. And so it was janky, toxic. Like I've talked about it on my Twitter, horrible place to work. And so I was just like, the standard is in hell. So like I'm doing the bare minimum and they loving it. So if y'all like it, I love it. And so then I got licensed, and then I'm like, I'm not about to stress myself out, you know, and then I became a mom. So I really wasn't about to be like doing the most. I'm like, I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna see my clients. I'm gonna call them. I'm not about to hound them. Like, this is what it is. But it's taken so much work for me to get here. And I got to shout out my girl, Jasmine, my therapist. She's really helping me with that perfectionism, right? And just looking at myself, looking at my life like, bitch, you've achieved a lot, period. It's okay. If you want to sit down right now, do it. You know, you don't have to go after this PhD and do other, like, you don't need to. For what?
Yeah.
You know what's, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I'm co-signing.
I'm gonna co-sign too, but I think before this, I ain't never met you.
No.
We have the same life experience. And I think that's important. I mean, of course there's differences, right? But like, I think it's so fascinating to see, like, when we're talking about perfectionism, especially for Black women, how similar the experiences are. Mine was the same way. Like, you got to go to the best school. Okay, so I went to UNC Chapel Hill. All right, bet, cool, did that. But you can't just go. Like, you got to get a scholarship. Okay, bet. So I bust my ass, I get a scholarship, go for free. Okay, bet. Then it's like, okay, what you gonna do now? Because you're talking about you want to be a social worker. Social workers don't make money. All right, cool. I gotta figure this out. And then, like, you go to grad school. All right, fuck it. I'm here. I gotta be cum laude. So I do that. And I do that while working a full-time job and a part-time job. And it's like, and then doing an internship. And it's like, okay, well, I gotta prove a point. Then to graduate, bet. Okay, I'm gonna get a job. I gotta take on the high risk cases, and I gotta do this, and I gotta make sure I got more on my caseload than other people because I gotta prove a point. I gotta prove that, like,
and what was the point?
And what the fuck was the point?
They didn't pay you more.
We still don't have it. They're like, what is the point?
Didn't pay me more. I'm literally at one point in time at one job, I'm the only black clinician there.
Oh, and me too, yeah.
I'm the only one working at 10, 11 doing crisis calls while everybody else in the bed, because I'm the only one that's not married with kids. Oh, America, I know you're not on call, but like,
so why are you calling?
You don't have a family or anything. So like, you think you can go to the hospital real quick? And my dumb ass
went
at the time. Okay, bitch, let me put my pants on and go. Bro, some wild shit. But you said something, and I think it's fascinating when you got licensed. Because when I got licensed, I literally was like, oh, you can't tell me shit. American,
literally.
American, you nope. Can you nope?
No.
American, I literally start getting
period. Me too.
Because I was like, at this point, you can't tell me shit. I had hit the holy grail. There's nothing else you can tell me. As long as I don't do no crazy shit, I'm gonna have it for the rest of my life.
Straight. Period.
You can't tell me. Can you? No, I'm good. We called you. Oh, I know. I saw it. Bitch, my shit on do not disturb. And it's weird because it's almost like, while I still had very high standards for myself and they were unrealistic as fuck, it's something about when I got licensed that I was like, I don't know what that means.
You had to achieve that mark for yourself.
Yeah.
Getting, and that was a benchmark that you, right? We were talking about perfectionism ideas and what people or society are putting over our head. But for that was you. And once you reach that bar, nobody can tell you shit.
You couldn't tell me shit.
Yeah.
I passed my exam on a Tuesday. I had my arm done the next. You couldn't tell me shit. Like, you can't. And my mom was like, you're not gonna get a job if you have visible tattoos. I looked at her and I said, ma'am, I am licensed. I'm the job. Watch this. And I would just start getting the shit done.
Yes.
I am the job.
Yeah.
Period.
That's wild.
Wow.
Yeah. I tell you,
I'm not licensed yet, but I get what you're saying, you know, because that me has always been it. I just having my own practice, you know, my own clients, setting my own schedule, not have to worrying about, I mean, of course, you know, you have bosses and stuff, but there's certain things that you don't have to worry about coming out of a 9-to-5 and going into our field that I'm forward to.
Yes. And you can get there and it's going to feel great.
Yeah. One last thing I want, because America said it, and maybe this is just something for our listeners to just kind of take with them over the next week. But when we say Black excellence, keeping in mind of what Black excellence means and how perfectionism ties into that.
Come on.
That could be homework. You know what I mean? Because that could also open up another can. But just kind of thinking of like when you say, oh, Black excellence, hashtag, I see you, girl. Just what is it in? You know, that person just being themselves and living their best life for themselves? Or are they holding down 3, 4, 5 jobs and, you know, got 67, 50, 11 degrees and things like that.
Right. Right.
On social media.
I want to say one thing too. There's a difference between high achievement and perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to also be mindful of what that line looks like. Because to me, a high achiever is somebody who is going to be pulled towards their goals because they have a desire to reach them. Yeah. But then when we're talking about perfectionism is really about the fact that you are pushed like you have to, and it's rooted in fear. Perfectionism is rooted in fear. It is like, if I don't do this thing, oh shit, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve. I failed. And so like there's a really clear line, especially for Black folks, that I think we got to make sure, because people every time, no, I'm not a perfectionist, I'm just a high achiever. Okay, well, what is the motivation behind your action? Oh shit, well, if I don't do it, I'm gonna be a failure. Is that true? Probably not. You got all these degrees and you do all, probably not gonna be a failure, whatever that means. Right? Like you might have to make some adjustments, but you're not gonna be a failure. And so really understand, like, it's a fine line and we got to pay attention to that, because most of us think we're high achievers, but we fall into the perfectionism category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a difference of making a mistake versus being a mistake.
You better grab the people real quick. Go ahead. Tell us what you mean. Get us together.
Casually.
Something wrong, but that doesn't mean you're being wrong.
Right.
That mindset. So when Jasmine said, reading out of that book, that self-love and perfectionism, and I'm from Texas, y'all. And that being tied into self-love and a lack thereof, that stuck with me, because and it's not just about degrees and having the physical, but like, if you have a strong work ethic, if you're genuine, if you're truthful, those are tangible skills, just skills, qualities to have that that are worth holding on to and growing and developing. And if it means just starting off looking in the mirror every morning and being like, I like this about myself and I'm going to rock with that today, pick something new the next day, then if we got to build those building blocks for ourselves, that small, then let's do it.
Period. Period.
So I feel like all of us have, I'm listening. So if I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm wrong, child. I'm not a blood, but it's fine. I'm not going to die from that anyway. When we talk about perfectionism, I feel like all of us have some of those tendencies. So what would be a tip that you would give to people around perfectionism, or like how to move with it or overcome it?
Well, what I would say is, going off of that whole, it being a lack of self-love, is to remind yourself that if you love yourself, you wouldn't put unattainable expectations on yourself.
Yeah.
Checking in with yourself.
How do you know if they're unattainable?
I guess you don't know, right?
Yeah, that would have to be per person. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, since graduating from undergrad, it's been that I'm not doing adulting right. Really, I have to step back and be like, well, what is the right way? Because just because my parents are successful and they went down that path, this is each of our own lives. And the beauty of the free will to choose our paths. There's different ways to find happiness, to find success, to find security. Because a lot of that, of course, is wrapped up in financial security.
Yep.
So yeah, so my tip would be, when you have those thoughts, is to just take a moment and question that thought. Question it. Question that insecurity. What is the right way? There's no answer for that. So let's keep it moving.
That's a good one. Mine would be ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for help when you need help. And know that asking for help doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. I'm talking to myself right now. But it's okay to ask for people to help you. Like, that's okay. Could you do it? Probably. But would it be more helpful if somebody else did it for you? Sure. And so be okay with asking for somebody to step in and assist you. That's okay. We really think that we can live life in silo, and like, we can't. I would love to live like, no, I probably wouldn't love to live like. I'm the type of person that if I need something in the store, I'm going to look first before I ask. Right? Like, I will walk down every fucking aisle. I did this yesterday in Target, every fucking aisle, until I found, I got the app. The app said it's in B16. Bitches, it's not in B16. What is going on? And I will walk through every single one, right? And it's like, it's all these people here to help. Girl, ask somebody. Ask somebody for help. We have to be okay with knowing that people are put in place to help us. And they are accessible if we allow them to be.
Right.
Ask for help. I spent 45 minutes yesterday looking for some shit and I didn't need to. So I'm talking to myself because I should have asked somebody for help.
Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm like, if I circle the block and I don't see it, excuse me.
So you already got it. You don't mind. I was struggling. I was like, okay, I need to ask somebody. But like, it's okay. I got the Target app.
Me too.
The Target app will tell me, like, I'm like, this shit said it's not here. It must. After 45 minutes, I decided it just must not be in the store.
I mean, it would have taken me 15 minutes tops.
And that tells me that's my homework. My homework is, bitch, ask people for help.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Ask people for help. Shit. This point, ask people. Because I could have walked out with what I went in there for, but I didn't because I didn't want to ask. And it wasn't like I'm not going to. It was just like, I'll find it. I can do it. And I think that's about like perfectionism in general. Like I'll figure it out. I got it. Not that I think I'm smarter or better than anybody in, because I fucking don't. But like, I'm smart. I'll figure it out. I can find it. I know what it looks like. I'll find it. I still don't have what I went in there for, y'all. And I'm sick. Because now I got to go bad. Which means I'm going to spend another $200. And I'm probably still not going to have what I went in there for.
But you're going to spend less time because when you go back, you're going to what?
I'm going to ask for help.
And
Period. I know that's right.
I love this for us. This is great.
I was just about to say that, and now I don't have to.
And it's across, you know what I mean? Across the country, our different backgrounds. This is clearly a cultural thing.
Yes.
That each of us are faced with.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, like I always say, pull up on your therapist. I got mine every week on Wednesday. Jasmine, shout out to you. You're doing the Lord's work.
I feel like I want to meet you. Just how that work. And you, of course, I know. I'm like, oh, hey, Jasmine, girl. What you got going on? Where is Jasmine? No, we can talk about that later.
She in California. Yeah.
No, but she can't. If she's not licensed for North Carolina, I can't do nothing with her. So I'll be quiet.
Oh no.
It's okay. Go ahead. Y'all be great. Y'all being great. I'm gonna find something that works for me because.
Yeah. Let's get that. Let's make that our priority this year, this second half of the year.
Yeah.
Coming out correct.
Because I need me a Jasmine too, because baby, I have not had no Jasmines. Based on what you're saying, I ain't had no Jasmine.
There's a lot of them out here.
There are. I was just talking about how pretty much all the Jasmines I know in our age group are therapists.
Really?
On my hand, I can count like 10 therapist Jasmines that I know.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh, I wonder what that means.
We're dominating.
I'm gonna do.
I was gonna say that we were all that friend in the group that everyone came.
Right. Facts. Well,
Okay, sorry. I know we're ready to go, but according to Google, Jasmine is a Persian name meaning gift from God. So maybe that's why Jasmines are. I just shitted on my. Did I shit on myself? No, I didn't. I'm that bitch, so I didn't shit on myself. But Jasmine is a gift from God.
Period. And
Okay.
we are.
Jasmine Guy, where my dad got the influence.
Oh.
Yes, Jasmine Guy.
Come on, Whitley.
Oh. Because Whitley was out here. Okay, never mind. That's a case study because baby, yep. Okay.
I know that last time we did make commitments. Mine was to drink a gallon every day. I did drink a gallon most days.
Good.
Keeping it real.
Yes. My new commitment is to continue with 20 minutes a day of my self-love workbook.
That.
My commitment before was making sure that I use my schedule breaks for myself, and I have kept that commitment up. So my new commitment, especially because we're coming into a new month, is going to be, I think my new commitment is really going to be me paying attention to the thoughts that I have in the same way I tell people, and like catching them and reframing them. The self-love workbook that you have, Jasmine, again, something that my whole brand and I think of my business is around self-love. So one of the things that I really focus on is making sure that we are accepting ourselves where we are. And so I want to make sure, I think my new commitment for this upcoming month is making sure that my thoughts match that. So when I catch myself saying little things, because you mentioned going step on the scale, my body has changed a lot with the pandemic and those changes and doing things a little bit differently. And so my commitment is making sure that I am mindful of the conversations that I have with myself about myself. That's my
Talk to yourself like you would your best friend, period.
Correct. Yeah. I don't have a bestie, and I'm really brutally honest with people, but there's some truth in that. Because there's some shit I say to myself I wouldn't say to nobody. I wouldn't even say out loud. I said out loud the other day, and my boyfriend was like, who the fuck are you talking to? I was like, oh, I'm talking to myself. And he was like, why the fuck are you, why? And I was like, oh, it was just some shit I wanted to say, so I said it out loud so you could hear. And he was like, that's why you be pissed off, because the fuck? I'm mad. Mm-hmm. So that's my homework for myself.
I like that. That's a whole topic too, where that inner voice comes from our childhood. Anyway, I'm going to join you, Jasmine, with the 20 minutes a day in the self-love journal booking. I have a different one, but I like that. It's just a small window. That's something that's obtainable. Mm-hmm. For me, I want to finish this semester, the summer session strong. Mm-hmm. Social advocacy prevention class and substance abuse. And I've written the longest paper I've ever written, 20 pages on suicide post-pandemic and how that's affecting my community here in Houston, Texas. And it has been a struggle to be writing that paper and then dealing with grief for the first time. It's different researching and getting numbers and facts versus now knowing that just how people feel in the wake of it. And I have different understanding now of when someone says, I'm sorry, or my condolences. They're not just words. I now understand the meaning and the impact behind them. So I value experience and that making me a awesome bomb ass therapist. So I just gotta take this loss as experience. And yeah.
Can I say something about that?
God.
Lauren London, who to me is
I was
God's
gonna say to watch that.
yeah, God's gift to the new free fucking world. Go listen or watch her podcast with Angie Martinez. It's called We're All Gonna Die.
Okay.
And I know it sounds morbid, and I think they mentioned the fact that it's morbid. But it really speaks to the fact that this is the one thing that we know is going to happen. And I think I told y'all in our little group chat that like, I struggle with death. My anxiety is around dying. So like the anxiety that I experience at nighttime is, am I going to die? That's where it comes from. And so it's a real heavy lift. But that podcast to me, phenomenal. And like really listening to her talk about, of course, her grief around Nip and what that looked like, what that felt like, but also really understanding like this impacts us on a whole different level. Like, but it's the one thing that's going to happen to all of us. Like we're all going to die. Like we are. And so she really talked about how the fact that we're not prepared for this thing that's going to happen to everybody. And so what that really looks like for her as a grieving, I'm going to call her a widow, as a grieving widow. And then also like the fact that we kind of push past it as if it's not a real thing when it's very much a real thing.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to listen to that. I wrote it down.
It's a short listen. It's only like 45 minutes. And I really feel like they could have went forever because it was like, I had questions, but it was good.
Okay. Impactful.
It was so good.
It
Yeah.
was good.
Definitely.
You in LA too.
Yeah. I actually went to high school right across the street where Nipsey's shop was and he got killed. So yeah, that's why it definitely hit very different.
Yeah, it hit home.
Yeah. I feel like I should turn my camera so I can see all my Nip shit on the wall, but I'm not gonna do that because that's not necessary. But listen to it. It's really good. It's really good. And I think if nothing else, because you said it was a close family member, that especially when she talks about being on the front row, and it's like something that you experience and then everybody else, they basically like peace out and their life return. You've mentioned that too. Life returning back to normal. And like, this not normal for me. So what does this mean?
Yeah.
It would be a great listen.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Yes. And so Janae is in the background giving me some vocals.
Hey, baby girl.
So I just want to thank y'all for your time as always and remind you both and y'all out there to make sure that you are taking good care of yourself because you are so important. And remember, you can drink the green drinks, go for hikes, maybe talk to your friends or retail therapy. But if you're ignoring the things going on in your head and in your heart, you're still not truly healthy. So go on ahead and seek therapy. We all need that shit, period. We will see you later and take good care.
Bye.
Bye.